The Awakening. The icy winds of Antarctica howled across the desolate landscape as the Zarkay expedition ship touched down. Three figures emerged, their environmental suits gleaming in the pale sunlight. Commander Ixthor, the mission leader, surveyed the barren expanse through multifaceted eyes. Scanners indicate the anomaly is 500 meters below the surface. Chirped his second-in-command, Vexna. "Shall we begin excavation?" Ixthor's mandibles clicked in anticipation. "Proceed. Whatever the humans left behind, it could revolutionize our understanding of their extinct civilization." As the Zarkay drilling equipment carved through layers of ancient ice, none of the alien archaeologists could have predicted the chain of events they were about to set in motion. Hours later, a resounding crack echoed through the cavern they had hollowed out. The drill bit had struck something metallic. As they cleared away the remaining ice, a massive door was revealed, emblazoned with faded English letters. "Project Phoenix. Authorized personnel only." "Fascinating," Ixthor murmured, running a tendril over the smooth surface. "Their metallurgy was far more advanced than we realized. Vexna, can you decipher the locking mechanism?" The alien scientist interfaced her neural implants with the ancient human technology. After several tense minutes, there was a loud hiss as the seal broke. The door swung open, revealing a dimly lit chamber beyond. The Zarkay team cautiously entered, their bioluminescent skin casting an eerie glow over rows of cylindrical pods. Most were dark and lifeless, but one at the far end pulsed with a faint blue light. "Impossible," gasped Keeler, the team's xenobiologist. "These readings, there's a living organism inside." Ixthor's tendrils writhed with excitement. "After all this time, quickly begin the revival process." As Vexna interfaced with the pod's controls, none of them noticed the small symbol etched near the base, a stylized phoenix rising from flames. The pod hissed open, releasing a cloud of cryogenic vapors. As they dissipated, a figure sat up, a human male, muscular and alert despite centuries of suspended animation. His eyes snapped open, revealing irises of startling electric blue. Before the aliens could react, the human had leaped from the pod with inhuman speed. In a blur of motion, he disarmed Keeler and had Ixthor pinned against the wall, the alien's own weapon pressed to his throat. "You have exactly 5 seconds to explain who you are and what the hell is going on," the human growled, his voice raspy from disuse, but filled with lethal intent. Ixthor's tendrils trembled as he struggled to form words. We are peaceful explorers. Zarkay archaeologists studying Earth's past. We found your stasis pod and revived you." The human's eyes narrowed. "Earth's past. What year is it?" "By your calendar, approximately 2750 CE. The human's grip tightened, causing Ixthor to emit a high-pitched whine of distress. "Impossible. The war with the Syraxian Empire. Our last stand." "Ancient history," Vexnet interjected cautiously. "Humanity has been considered extinct for centuries, until now." The human released Ixthor, who slumped to the ground gasping. "My name is Marcus Kane, captain of the Phoenix Squadron. And you just made a very big mistake waking me up." As Marcus strode towards the chamber's exit, his muscles rippling beneath the skin-tight cryosuit, the Zarkay team exchanged nervous glances. They had hoped to uncover relics of humanity's past. Instead, they had unleashed a living weapon from a long-forgotten war. Vexna attempted to reason with him. "Captain Kane, please. We have so many questions. Your technology, your history." Marcus paused at the threshold, his back to the aliens. "History is written by the victors. And from where I'm standing, it looks like humanity lost." His voice dripped with bitterness. "But I'm about to rewrite it." With blinding speed, he grabbed a nearby console and ripped it from the wall. Before the Zarkay could react, Marcus had barricaded the door, trapping them inside the stasis chamber. "Consider this your first lesson about humanity," he called out as he sprinted down the icy tunnel towards the surface. We don't go down without a fight. Ixthor slammed his tendrils against the sealed door in frustration. Alert the fleet. We cannot allow him to escape. But it was too late. By the time they managed to break free, Marcus had already commandeered their ship. As the Zarkai watched helplessly, their vessel streaked into the sky, carrying with it a relic of humanity's warlike past, and perhaps the greatest threat the galaxy had faced in centuries. Aboard the stolen ship, Marcus interfaced with the alien computer systems, his Phoenix Squadron neural implants allowing him to quickly decipher the unfamiliar technology. As stars streaked past the view screen, his mind raced. 700 years. An entire world, a civilization, lost. But he remembered the Soraxian threat all too clearly. The brutal attacks, the millions dead. Had Earth truly fallen, or was there more to the story? Marcus set course for the nearest populated system, his jaw clenched with determination. He had been engineered to be humanity's last hope, a super soldier capable of turning the tide against an overwhelming alien force. Now he found himself alone in a galaxy that had long since moved on. But his mission remained the same: protect humanity at all costs. And if humanity truly was extinct, well, he would just have to rectify that situation. As the ship accelerated to faster-than-light speeds, Marcus allowed himself a grim smile. The Zarkai had awakened a force they couldn't possibly understand, and he intended to show this brave new world exactly why the Phoenix Squadron had been feared across the stars. "Hold on, Earth," he whispered. "Your prodigal son is coming home." First contact fallout. The Zarkai outpost on Novus Prime buzzed with activity as news of the escaped humans spread across subspace channels. In the command center, High Counselor Zixera's hologram loomed over a gathering of military and scientific leaders. "This is unprecedented." Zixera's multifaceted eyes glowed with intensity. "A living human, from the war era no less. The implications are troubling." General Kaznar, his carapace adorned with battle scars, stepped forward. "Troubling. It's a catastrophe. This Marcus Kane has already hijacked one of our ships. Who knows what other havoc he might wreak." Vexina, still shaken from her encounter on Earth, spoke up. "With respect, General, we should focus on contact and containment. Kane possesses knowledge that could revolutionize our understanding of human history and technology." Kaznar's mandibles clicked in agitation. "You naive scientist. Did you already forget how he overpowered your entire team? Humans were savages, warmongers. This one is a weapon, nothing more." As the debate raged, alarms suddenly blared throughout the facility. A junior officer burst into the room, his exoskeleton quivering with panic. "Counselor General, we've detected an unauthorized ship entering the system. It's the vessel stolen from Antarctica." All eyes turned to the holographic display as a sleek Zarkai scout ship dropped out of FTL, streaking towards Novus Prime's main settlement. Aboard the commandeered vessel, Marcus Kane's fingers danced over alien controls with practiced ease. His Phoenix Squadron neural implants, designed to interface with any technology, had fully decrypted the ship's systems. "All right, you overgrown insects," he muttered. "Let's see how you handle a real first contact situation." As he approached the sprawling Zarkai colony, Marcus broadcast on all frequencies. "Attention Novus Prime. This is Captain Marcus Kane of Earth's Phoenix Squadron. I come seeking information about the fate of my homeworld and the current state of the galaxy. I have no hostile intentions, unless provoked." In the command center, chaos erupted. "He's bluffing," Kaznar snarled. "Scramble our defense fleet. Shoot him down." Zixera's hologram flickered as she raised all four arms for silence. "No, this may be our only chance to communicate. Vexna, you've interacted with him. Can we trust his word?" The scientist's antennae twitched thoughtfully. "Kane is dangerous, but also curious. I believe he genuinely seeks answers. If we approach peacefully, we may avoid conflict." After a tense moment, Zix-Era nodded. Very well. Prepare a landing zone and a diplomatic team. But keep our military on high alert. If this human makes one wrong move. Marcus guided the ship towards the designated landing pad, his enhanced senses on high alert for any sign of treachery. As he touched down, he saw a group of Zarkai approaching, some in ornate robes, others in what appeared to be scientific attire. Taking a deep breath, Marcus stepped out to face this new world. The Zarkai delegation stopped a respectful distance away, their alien features unreadable to human eyes. One figure stepped forward, and Marcus recognized Vexna from the Antarctic base. She spoke, her translator converting alien clicks and whistles into English. Captain Kane, on behalf of the Zarkai Collective, welcome to Novus Prime. We are eager to exchange information and assure you that no harm will come to you here. Marcus's eyes narrowed, scanning for hidden weapons or signs of deception. Finding none, he relaxed slightly. I appreciate the welcome, though I admit I'm still processing. All of this. He gestured at the alien cityscape surrounding them. I need answers. What happened to Earth? To humanity? Vexna's antennae drooped slightly. It is a long and complex story, Captain. Perhaps we could continue this discussion somewhere more comfortable. We have prepared accommodations for you. As they walked towards a nearby structure, Marcus couldn't help but marvel at the advanced technology surrounding him. Holographic displays, anti-gravity vehicles, structures that seemed to defy physics. It was a far cry from the war-torn Earth he remembered. Inside a conference room, Marcus faced a panel of Zarkai officials. Zix-Era's hologram dominated the center, her multiple eyes studying him intently. Captain Kane, the High Counselor began, your appearance has caused quite a stir. Humanity has been considered extinct for centuries. Your survival raises many questions. Marcus leaned forward, his voice tight with barely contained emotion. Extinct? That's impossible. When I entered stasis, we were holding our own against the Syraxian Empire. What happened? The Zarkai exchanged glances, a ripple of unease passing through their antennae. Finally, Vexna spoke. Captain, the war you remember, it ended over 700 years ago. Both humanity and the Syraxians were devastated. Earth was rendered nearly uninhabitable. The few human survivors scattered across colony worlds, but infighting and resource scarcity led to their eventual decline. Marcus slammed his fist on the table, causing several Zarkai to recoil. No, we had fail-safes, contingencies. The Phoenix program itself was designed to ensure humanity's survival, no matter the cost. Zix-Era's hologram flickered as she leaned closer. The Phoenix program. Our records mention no such initiative. Captain Kane, what exactly was your role in this program? Marcus hesitated, weighing how much to reveal. These aliens seemed peaceful, but centuries of ingrained caution made him wary. I was enhanced, made stronger, faster, able to interface with technology. A prototype super soldier, meant to turn the tide against the Syraxians. The revelation sent a wave of murmurs through the Zarkai delegation. Kaznar, who had been silently glowering, suddenly spoke up. So, you admit it. You're a living weapon, a relic of humanity's violent past. How can we trust anything you say? Marcus rose to his feet, his imposing frame towering over the insectoid aliens. Trust goes both ways, General. I've shown good faith by coming here peacefully. Now, I need access to your historical records. I want to see for myself what became of my people. Tension crackled in the air as Marcus and Kaznar locked eyes. Zix-Era's hologram expanded, filling the space between them. Enough. Captain Kane, we will grant you access to our archives. But understand this. You are a guest here, and we will be watching you closely. Any aggressive action will be met with swift consequences. Marcus nodded curtly. Understood. And I give you my word. As long as you deal with me honestly, you have nothing to fear. As the meeting adjourned, Vexna approached Marcus. I'll escort you to the archives. But first, perhaps you'd like to freshen up. We've prepared quarters for you, with garments that should fit your unique physiology. For the first time since awakening, Marcus allowed himself a small smile. I appreciate that. I imagine my cryosuit isn't exactly the height of fashion these days. As they walked through the Zarkai city, Marcus marveled at the alien architecture and technology. Part of him was filled with wonder at humanity's first true peaceful contact with an alien civilization. But another part, the part honed by years of war, remained vigilant. These Zarkai seemed benevolent, but Marcus couldn't shake the feeling that they weren't telling him everything. The fate of humanity, the lost secrets of the Phoenix program, the true outcome of the Saraxian War, all of it felt maddeningly out of reach. In his quarters, Marcus examined his reflection in a shimmering energy field that served as a mirror. The face that looked back was the same one he remembered, eternally youthful thanks to the Phoenix enhancements. But his eyes held a new weight, the burden of a man out of time. As he donned the Zarkai garments, a surprisingly comfortable blend of synthetic materials, Marcus made a silent vow. He would uncover the truth about humanity's fate, and if there was any chance, any possibility that his people still existed somewhere among the stars, he would find them. The legacy of Earth would not end with him. One way or another, humanity would rise again. Uncovering the truth, Marcus spent the next several days immersed in the Zarkai archives, his enhanced mind processing centuries of galactic history at an astonishing rate. The more he learned, the more unsettled he became. The official records painted a bleak picture of humanity's fall. Earth, ravaged by the Saraxian War, had become a toxic wasteland. The surviving human colonies, cut off from their homeworld, had struggled for generations before slowly fading into obscurity. But something didn't add up. Marcus found frustrating gaps in the historical narrative, entire decades missing or glossed over with vague explanations, and there was no mention of the Phoenix program or any of the top-secret initiatives he knew had been in development. On the fifth day, as he pored over star charts in a secluded corner of the archives, Vexna approached. Her antennae twitched nervously as she spoke. "Captain Kane, how are you finding our records? Have they provided the answers you seek?" Marcus leaned back, fixing the alien scientist with a penetrating gaze. "They've provided some answers, and a lot more questions. Tell me, Vexna, why are there so many inconsistencies in your accounts of human history?" Vexna's compound eyes darted around, checking if anyone was within earshot. She lowered her voice. "You're very perceptive, Captain. The truth is, not everything in our official archives is accurate. There are those among us who believe that much of what we know about humanity's fate has been sanitized." Marcus leaned forward, his interest piqued. "Go on." "I'm part of a group of scholars who have been piecing together fragments of classified information. We believe that the end of the human Saraxian War was far more complex than the official story suggests. There are rumors of secret alliances, betrayals, and technologies that could rewrite history as we know it." Marcus's mind raced. Could there be more survivors? Other Phoenix operatives? He chose his next words carefully. "Vexna, I need access to these classified records. My neural implants can decrypt and process data faster than any system you have. I might be able to find patterns, connections that you've missed." The alien scientist hesitated. "What you're asking is highly illegal. If we're caught, the fate of my entire species could be at stake." Marcus pressed. "Please, Vexna, help me uncover the truth." After a long moment, Vexna nodded. "Meet me at the Central Data Core tonight, during the sleep cycle. I'll get you in." As Marcus made his way through the darkened corridors of the archive complex that night, his enhanced senses on high alert for any sign of security, he couldn't help but feel a glimmer of hope. Whatever secrets lay hidden in the Zarkai databases, he was determined to uncover them. Vexna was waiting at the entrance to the data core, her bioluminescent skin dimmed to avoid detection. With quick, efficient movements, she bypassed the security protocols and ushered Marcus inside. "We don't have much time," she whispered. "The data core will register any unauthorized access within 20 minutes. Make it count." Marcus nodded, placing his hand on the alien interface. His neural implants hummed to life, connecting directly with the vast network of information. Data flooded his consciousness: classified reports, encrypted transmissions, fragmented sensor logs from the final days of the war. As he sifted through the torrent of information, patterns began to emerge. References to a mysterious Protocol Omega appeared repeatedly in high-level communications, coordinates for a star system far beyond known space, and most intriguingly, mentions of a human fleet that had supposedly escaped the Siraxian onslaught. Suddenly, an alarm blared. Vexna chittered in panic. "We've been detected. We have to go now." But Marcus was lost in the data stream, pushing his implants to their limits as he sought to unravel the final pieces of the puzzle. Just as the security forces burst into the room, a series of images flashed through his mind. A massive space station hidden in the depths of a nebula, its hull adorned with a familiar symbol, a phoenix rising from the flames. As rough hands pulled him away from the interface, Marcus allowed himself a grim smile. He had found it, the key to humanity's survival and perhaps its rebirth. The next few hours were a blur of interrogations and threats. General Kazanar was apoplectic with rage, his mandibles clicking furiously as he berated Marcus and Vexna. But it was High Counselor Zixera who ultimately passed judgment. "Your actions are a grave breach of trust," her hologram intoned, looming over the two prisoners. "However, given the unique circumstances, we are willing to show leniency if you share what you've discovered." Marcus met the alien leader's gaze unflinchingly. "I'll do you one better. I'll show you." He proceeded to lay out the fragments he had pieced together. The evidence of a massive cover-up spanning centuries, the hints of surviving human enclaves, and the coordinates of the mysterious space station. As he spoke, the atmosphere in the room shifted. Even Kazanar fell silent, his aggressive posture softening as the implications sank in. Zixera's hologram flickered thoughtfully. "If what you say is true, Captain Kane, it could reshape our understanding of galactic history. But it also poses great risks. If there are indeed human survivors out there, with the kind of advanced technology you describe, then the balance of power in the galaxy could shift dramatically." Marcus finished. "I understand your concerns, but I have to find out the truth. My people, my mission, they're all I have left." After a tense deliberation among the Zarkai leadership, Zixera delivered their decision. "We will provide you with a ship and resources to investigate these coordinates, but you will not go alone. A team of our best scientists and diplomats will accompany you, including Vexna." Marcus nodded, understanding the unspoken message. The Zarkai would help him, but they would also be keeping a close eye on him. As preparations for the expedition began, Marcus found himself filled with a mix of anticipation and dread. He was on the verge of uncovering the truth about humanity's fate, of potentially reuniting with his own kind. But he also couldn't shake the feeling that he was stepping into something far larger and more dangerous than he could imagine. Whatever awaited him at those distant coordinates, Marcus knew one thing for certain. The galaxy was about to change forever, and he, a man out of time, would be at the center of the storm. Alliance and betrayal. The Zarkai expedition ship, christened Horizon Seeker, sliced through the void of deep space. On the bridge, Marcus Kane stood beside Vexna, watching as unfamiliar stars streaked past the view screen. The coordinates they followed led to a remote region of space, far beyond the borders of known civilization. "We're approaching the outer edge of the Veiled Nebula," announced Tark, the Zarkai navigator. "Sensors are having difficulty penetrating the gas and dust clouds." Marcus nodded, his enhanced eyes picking out patterns in the swirling cosmic debris. This would be the perfect place to hide a secret installation. Maintain our course, but proceed with caution. As they ventured deeper into the nebula, tension on the bridge mounted. The Zarkai crew, A mix of scientists and military personnel cast nervous glances at Marcus. Despite weeks of close quarters, many still viewed him with a mixture of awe and fear. Suddenly, alarms blared. "Multiple contacts," shouted Krell, the sensor officer. "Vessels emerging from the nebula. Designs unknown." A fleet of sleek, predatory ships materialized from the cosmic mists, their hulls adorned with familiar insignia. The Rising Phoenix. Marcus's heart raced. Could it be? After all this time? Before he could voice his thoughts, a transmission crackled through the ship's speakers. "Unidentified vessel, you have entered restricted space. Identify yourself immediately or be destroyed." Marcus stepped forward, his voice steady. "This is Captain Marcus Kane of the Phoenix Squadron. Authorization code: Lazarus Rising. We come seeking answers." A long moment of silence followed. Then, "Captain Kane, your codes. They're over 700 years old. Explain yourself." Marcus recounted his story. The cryostasis, his awakening, and the long journey that led him here. As he spoke, he could sense the disbelief and excitement radiating from the other ship. Finally, a new voice came over the comm, older, filled with authority. "This is Admiral Helena Voss of the Phoenix Enclave. Captain Kane, if what you say is true, welcome home." The next few hours were a whirlwind of activity. The Horizon Seeker was escorted to a massive space station hidden within the heart of the nebula. As they docked, Marcus marveled at the advanced technology on display, far beyond anything the Zarkay possessed. Admiral Voss met them in the docking bay, her weathered face breaking into a smile as she laid eyes on Marcus. "I never thought I'd live to see this day," she said, grasping his hand firmly. "The return of a true Phoenix operative." As they toured the station, Voss explained the truth that had been hidden for centuries. The Phoenix program hadn't just created super soldiers like Marcus, it had been humanity's ultimate failsafe. When Earth fell, a select group of enhanced individuals and brilliant minds had fled to this hidden enclave, preserving the best of human knowledge and technology. "We've spent generations preparing," Voss said, her eyes gleaming. "Advancing our technology, honing our skills. And now, with your return, the time has finally come to reclaim our place in the galaxy." Marcus frowned. "Reclaim? Admiral, the war is long over. The Soraxians are gone. Surely we can find a peaceful way to reintegrate with galactic society." Voss's expression hardened. "The Soraxians were just the beginning, Captain. While we've been in hiding, other alien races have carved up the galaxy between them. The Zarkay, the Nair Collective, the Thorian Dominion. They've all profited from humanity's supposed extinction." She led them to a vast war room, holographic displays showing tactical data from across the galaxy. "We have agents embedded throughout known space, sleeper cells ready to be activated. With your help, Marcus, we can reclaim what's rightfully ours." Marcus stared at the displays, his mind reeling. This wasn't the homecoming he had imagined. The Phoenix Enclave wasn't interested in peaceful coexistence. They'd wanted revenge, conquest. He glanced at Vexna and the other Zarkay, who were being politely but firmly escorted to guest quarters. The look of betrayal in Vexna's eyes cut him to the core. "Admiral," Marcus said carefully, "I think we need to discuss this further. The galaxy has changed. Maybe there's a way to announce our return without resorting to violence." Voss's smile didn't reach her eyes. "Of course, Captain. We have much to catch you up on. I'm sure once you've seen all the evidence, you'll understand the necessity of our actions." As Marcus was led away to his own quarters, his enhanced senses picked up whispered conversations and furtive glances among the Phoenix crew. They were excited by his arrival, yes, but also wary. He represented an unknown factor in their carefully laid plans. Alone in his room, Marcus paced restlessly. He had found his people, but at what cost? The Zarkay had been cautious, but ultimately helpful. Did they deserve to be treated as enemies? And what of the other alien civilizations who had no part in the ancient war? His thoughts were interrupted by a soft chime. The door slid open, revealing a young woman in a Phoenix uniform. Captain Kane. I'm Dr. Arya Chen, head of our cybernetics division. I've been asked to run some tests. Make sure your enhancements are still functioning properly. Marcus nodded, allowing her to scan him with various devices. As she worked, Arya spoke in a low voice. Captain, not all of us agree with Admiral Voss's plans. There's a growing faction that believes we should seek peaceful contact. Your arrival, it could be the catalyst for change. Their eyes met, a silent understanding passing between them. What do you need me to do? Marcus asked quietly. For now, play along. Let them think you're on board with the plan. But be ready. When the time comes, we'll need you to make a choice. As Arya left, Marcus's mind raced with possibilities. He had awoken to find humanity on the brink of reigniting an ancient conflict. Now, he might be the only one who could prevent it. Outside his quarters, the Phoenix Enclave hummed with activity, preparing for a war that would reshape the galaxy. And at the center of it all stood Marcus Kane, a man out of time, facing a decision that would determine the fate of not just humanity, but countless alien civilizations. The stage was set for a conflict that would dwarf the Siraxian War. But this time, the greatest battle would be for the very soul of humanity itself. Humanity's last stand. Days blurred into weeks as Marcus immersed himself in the Phoenix Enclave's operations. He played the role of the eager soldier, absorbing tactical briefings and technology updates while quietly gathering intelligence. The more he learned, the more troubled he became. Admiral Voss's plan was breathtaking in its audacity and terrifying in its potential for destruction. Sleeper agents embedded throughout alien civilizations would simultaneously activate, crippling key infrastructure. The advanced Phoenix fleet would then swoop in, using technology centuries ahead of their adversaries, to quickly overwhelm any resistance. But it was the final phase that chilled Marcus to his core. A weapon called the Starforge, capable of accelerating a star's life cycle, turning it into a supernova within hours. Voss planned to use it as the ultimate deterrent, holding entire systems hostage to ensure humanity's dominance. As the day of reckoning approached, Marcus knew he had to act. He arranged a clandestine meeting with Arya and the leaders of the dissident faction. "We can't let this happen," Marcus said, his voice low and intense. "This isn't preserving humanity. It's betraying everything we once stood for." Arya nodded grimly. "We've managed to gather a significant number of supporters, but we're still outnumbered. And Voss controls the Starforge." Marcus's mind raced, formulating a plan. "We need to divide their forces, create a distraction big enough to draw attention away from the Starforge. And we need allies." He turned to face the group, his eyes blazing with determination. "It's time to free the Zarkay delegation. They deserve to know the truth, and we'll need their help to contact the other alien civilizations." The next hours were a frenzy of covert activity. Using his top-level access, Marcus was able to disable the security systems long enough for Arya's team to free Vexna and the other Zarkay. When Marcus explained the situation, Vexna's compound eyes widened in shock. "By the Hive Mother," she breathed. "We must warn our people, alert the other races." "There's no time," Marcus said grimly. "Voss plans to launch the attack in less than 12 hours. Our only hope is to stop it here, now." As the ragtag group of human dissidents and alien allies formulated their plan, alarms suddenly blared throughout the station. Admiral Voss's voice boomed over the intercom. "Attention all personnel. We have traitors in our midst. Captain Kane and his conspirators seek to undermine everything we've worked for. All loyal Phoenix operatives, apprehend them immediately. Today, we take back our destiny." Marcus cursed under his breath. So much for the element of surprise. "Arya, get your people to the secondary command center. Try to lock down as many systems as you can. Vexna, you and your team head for the communications array. If we fail here, the galaxy needs to be warned. What about you? Arya asked, concern etched on her face. Marcus checked the charge on his plasma rifle, a grim smile playing on his lips. I'm going after the Starforge. It's time to end this, one way or another. The station erupted into chaos as Marcus fought his way through waves of Phoenix loyalists. His enhanced reflexes and centuries of combat experience made him a whirlwind of destruction, but he took care to use non-lethal force whenever possible. These were his people, after all, misguided as they might be. As he neared the Starforge control room, a familiar voice rang out. I'm disappointed in you, Marcus. Admiral Voss stepped into view, flanked by elite Phoenix guards. You could have been the herald of humanity's resurrection. Instead, you side with the very aliens who let our civilization crumble. Marcus raised his weapon, keeping it trained on Voss. You're wrong, Admiral. Humanity's strength was never in conquest. It was in our ability to adapt, to forge connections. What you're planning isn't resurrection, it's genocide. Voss's eyes narrowed. Pretty words from a relic. You have no idea what we've endured, what we've sacrificed to reach this point. I won't let you destroy everything we've built. She raised her hand, and her guards opened fire. Marcus dove for cover, his enhanced speed allowing him to evade the barrage of energy blasts. He returned fire, his shots precise and disabling rather than lethal. As the firefight raged, Marcus's neural implants picked up a transmission from Arya. We've locked down most of the station's systems, but Voss still has control of the Starforge. You need to shut it down now. Marcus gritted his teeth, knowing what he had to do. In one fluid motion, he vaulted over his cover and charged straight at Voss. Energy blasts sizzled past him, one grazing his shoulder, but he didn't slow. He tackled the Admiral with bone-crushing force, sending them both crashing through the doors of the Starforge control room. They grappled on the floor, Voss's own enhanced strength making her a formidable opponent. Why can't you see? Voss snarled as they struggled. This is our only chance to matter again. Marcus pinned her down, his voice raw with emotion. We never stopped mattering. Humanity's legacy lives on in the civilizations we inspired, the alliances we forge. We don't need to rule the galaxy to have worth. With a supreme effort, he reached out and smashed the Starforge's main control panel. Sparks flew as the doomsday weapon systems went dark. Voss let out a howl of anguish and despair. No. Do you realize what you've done? Without the Starforge, we're defenseless. Marcus stood, offering his hand to the fallen admiral. No, we're free. Free to rejoin the galactic community on our own terms. To be explorers and innovators again, not conquerors. As if on cue, Vexna's voice came over the comm system. Attention all Phoenix personnel. We've made contact with the Zarkai fleet and representatives from other major civilizations. They're willing to negotiate a peaceful reintegration of humanity into galactic society. Marcus met Voss's eyes, seeing the fight drain out of her. It's over, Admiral. But this isn't our extinction. It's a new beginning. In the days that followed, the Phoenix Enclave was abuzz with activity of a different kind. Diplomats from a dozen alien races arrived, eager to meet the legendary lost human civilization. There were tense moments and difficult negotiations, but also a sense of wonder and possibility. Marcus found himself at the center of it all, a bridge between the past he remembered and the future he hoped to build. As he watched humans and aliens mingling, sharing ideas, and forging new connections, he felt a weight lift from his shoulders. Vexna approached, her antennae twitching with excitement. The Zarkai High Council has agreed to sponsor humanity's reintegration into the Galactic Alliance. There's talk of joint scientific ventures, cultural exchanges. Marcus smiled, feeling truly at peace for the first time since he'd awoken in this new era. It won't be easy. There's a lot of history to overcome, on all sides. But I think we're on the right path. As the first human ambassador in centuries prepared to address the Galactic Alliance, Marcus stood in the background, watching with pride. He had awoken as a weapon, the last remnant of a warlike past. But now he had helped forge a new destiny for his people, not as conquerors, but as partners in a vast, diverse cosmic community. The Phoenix had risen again, not from the ashes of war, but from the flames of understanding and cooperation. And as humanity took its first steps into this brave new galaxy, Marcus Kane knew that the greatest adventures and the truest tests of human potential were still to come.